Yasis and welcome everybody to the brand new season of Meraki TV, straight out of Corona lockdown. I am Demetra Seeley and I'm very proud to be here as this season's new host. We are all very excited to be off the couch and doing what we love, and we can't wait to share it with all of you. I can promise you a season chock full of fun, interviews, music, news, travel, mythology, food, and lots of love. Tonight we have DJ Krazy Kon kicking it with the music news, the kids have a party, information on the 14th annual Greek Film Festival. We followed in the steps of Odysseus and travel to the Greek island of Ithaca. George cooks up a tray of Pastito. Noula shows us Zentangles, and Greek stage theatre gives us a visit. But first up, we talk with musical extraordinaire Christos Dantis. His career spans 4 decades with hit after hit after hit. He was groundbreaking, taking traditional songs and setting them to a rock beat back in the 80s. He's produced rock, pop, and laiko, and written in all 3 genres. His writing talents are phenomenal, penning the winning song for Greece's winning 2005 Eurovision entry and writing for iconic artists such as Keti Garbi, Pegizina, and Stelios Rokos, and many more. Billy Kotsas caught up with Christos, who he summed up as the Greek version of the artist formerly known as Prince.
Christos, welcome to Sydney, or welcome back to Sydney.
Thanks for having me.
A lot of people probably know how talented you are, but just for the benefit of all our viewers, you can play just about any instrument. You write your own music.
Not any. I can't play drums. I can program drums. I'm programming mostly, but I play guitar, bass, and keyboards. Yes.
What led you to music? Because you've been around. This is about 30 years in the industry, right? So you've been doing this since you were 30. Kids.
Yeah, actually, I was a kid. I was 13 years old, 14, when I played in front of an audience. No, actually, I was 5. When I went to see my dad, he was singing. He was a laiko singer. So I went to see my dad in the bouzoukia, and I asked him to perform instead of him. And I sang a song of Adoni Repani. It was called Stau Papa Sicha. That was the first song that I sang. And later, when I was 14 years old, I started forming bands and everything, you know. And at first, I was a bass player and I was singing. Then I started playing the guitar and the rest of the instruments.
And the rest, as they say, is history. Now, you started, it was the middle of the 80s. You started producing music for radio, for TV commercials.
Yeah, for TV commercials and radio commercials, yeah.
And then by the end of the 80s, you'd started a career as producing your own records.
Yeah, I had that dream because I was very influenced by the pop music back then, the 80s pop music, the 80s pop rock, like Bon Jovi, Europe, Whitesnake, and I was trying to do something abroad in the States. And I was doing demos, I was producing. I used to find, the perfect empty hours in the studios without paying, and with friends who were sound engineers. And I was doing demos for demonstrating my work to the States.
Because your first album was a hit. That went platinum.
Yeah, it was platinum, yes.
And from that moment, you've had 20 albums. You've also contributed to around 50 different artists' music and albums, right, and writing their music. And that's the other thing too that I love, that we all love about you, is that you write songs. So how do you keep doing? That's a lot of work that you've produced.
I don't know. It's you never know with music. It's like God whispers you inside your mind, and or in your ear, of different melodies and different styles. And since I've listened to a lot of styles of music, I can compose, I guess, anything, from jazz to whatever.
What would be a favorite album of yours? So that's a big catalog of work. If one or two really stood out,
I can't tell, because there are certain tracks that I love from my albums, but I cannot divide them or concentrate them to one album, because they're different style of tracks.
Now, there's a new album coming out next year.
Yeah.
And that's you're doing that in partnership with another artist. Tell us about the work behind it.
I have to do an album with Christos Dantis. We gave that promise to each other a couple of years ago. He presented me the songs that he written, and they're fantastic. They're the traditional laika, the ones that I like, that remind Dalara, Kazantzidis, Dionisiou, that kind, those kind of artists. And I want to contribute to the laiko, because it seems that it's changing that much that pop is considered as a laiko these days, and it's not laiko. Pop is not laiko. I mean, pop is pop. The laika melodies and the harmonies are different, and people start to forget. So I feel that I'm obliged to contribute to that.
Is there something, if there's a kid watching out there, there's a teenager watching what we're talking about tonight,
Yeah.
what advice would you give them?
To study hard, and if you wants to, or she wants to do something with music, they have to know it well, to study it, to sleep with it, to live with it. Never stop listening to music.
It's awesome. You're a legend.
Very nice.
It's been
nice
awesome
talking to
meeting you.
I love you all. Take care.
Welcome to Meraki TV Kids Corner!
I'm Constantina.
I'm Sophia.
And I'm Yanaki.
And today we're going to be doing party games. This is the Mount Olympus Donut Challenge.
The rules are:
You have to put your hands behind your back.
And you have to bite off as many donuts as you can.
the person with the most donuts bitten off is a winner.
So let's do it.
Go!
Oh no! Oh no, this is hard. One for Yanaki. Two. What is this? I can't get it.
I can't get this one.
I got my technique.
Yum, yum, yum.
I got 5, I'm the winner.
It's okay. Our next challenge is bobbing for apples. Everyone has a bucket full of water with an apple in it.
Our hands are handcuffed behind our backs.
Whoever gets the apple out of the bucket and onto the grass with their mouth wins.
Here we go.
3, 2, 1.
This is hard. I can't get it.
You have to dip your whole head in the water. Oh no!
Oh yes!
I'm wet. I did it.
And now it's time for the three-legged race. And the rules are:
Grab a partner.
And tie your middle legs together. Good luck.
let's do it. 3, 2, 1, go!
Come on! Come on! Come on! That one! That one! Yay, we won!
3, 2, 1, go! And now it's time for the tiebreaker.
3, 2,
1,
go.
The pandemic and its consequent lockdowns have had many, many victims. Our economy, our allowances, our health. But most challenging has probably been our mental health. For Hellenes and Phil-Hellenes alike, there is nothing like a small jaunt to the Greek islands to clear out any cobwebs, feed the soul, and refresh a disheartened spirit. Unfortunately, borders are still closed, but as a small compromise, Meraki TV is proud to present our travel series. Tonight, we begin with the Greek island of Ithaca.
Ithaca, or Ithaki, is part of Greece's Ionian Islands, a group of islands that lie off the west coast of Greece in a line from Zakynthos in the south to Corfu in the north. If the name Ithaca sounds familiar to you, it should. It is the island that is featured in Homer's famous writing, the Odyssey, the place that Odysseus does anything he has to get back to. It is the representation of home, of family, of love, of the place we'll do anything to get back to. And once you have visited, you may just feel the exact same way. A relatively short ferry ride from either Patra or Kyllini, the trip to Ithaca gives you 4 hours of beautiful views and sunshine to relax and wind down into Greek summer mode. The capital is Vathi, and here you can enjoy all the perks that you would expect from a Greek island. Beautiful tavernes, breathtaking views, stunning architecture, and lots of beautiful little nooks and crannies to explore. There are plenty of tours to take you around the island, both by land and sea, but if you have a seafarer amongst you, I thoroughly recommend you simply hire a boat for a day and leisurely take in the breathtaking beauty without fear of being run off the road. It's the best way to enjoy the secluded beaches unreachable by road and the crystal clear, iridescent blue waters. One place you must pop into is Kyllini, a picturesque small fishing village at the northern end of the island. Here, the locals all treat you like family, and it's the perfect kid-friendly town. Kyllini has a much more relaxed vibe, great for the beginning or the end of your holiday, where you want to totally relax and unwind while doing nothing but moseying down to the platia for a coffee, a snack, or a late night drink. With all this beauty, Ithaca really is a place where you can pop in for a day or two during your visit to Zakynthos or Kefalonia, or, as Odysseus did, drop your bags, call it home, and vow to never leave again.
This year, DJ Krazy Kon celebrates 25 years in the music industry, not only as a DJ but as a producer and promoter of live events. His iconic Greece series has topped the ARIA charts multiple times, and he is known as the man to go to in Australia for all things Greek music. We're very proud to have him here for another season of Meraki TV.
Let's go! DJ Krazy Kon presents a top 10 Greek hits. Number 10, Χορεύω, Michalis Hatziyannis.
Με φυλάς και πετάμε, δίπλα σου μόνο να με, ως το πρωί αγκαλιά, χορεύω.
Number 9, Κάψε, Θοδωρής Φέρης.
Κάψε μου τα χρήματα, κάψε μου τα αισθήματα, μάτια δίχως σώμα.
Number 8, Εγώ, Josephine.
Εγώ στη ζωή σου λες πως παίρνω πανικό. Εγώ, αχ και να ξέρεις ακόμα τι μπορώ. Εγώ, κι ό,τι...
Number 7, Σκάσε ένα φιλί, Νίκος Οικονομόπουλος.
Άλλα μου τα λες στο δρόμο, ένα με ενδιαφέρει μόνο. Σκάσε ένα φιλί, ένα φιλί.
Number 6, 2 μέτρα ουρανός, Πάνος Σκιάμος.
Καημού, 2 μέτρα ουρανός, από πάνω μου για φως, πόσο έμεινε για μένα.
Number 5, Melissa's and Cass, Victoria. Number 4, Άγρια Θάλασσα, Γιώργος Σαμπάνης. Number 3, Σ' αγαπάω σου φώναξα, Πέτρος Ιακωβίδης.
Σ' αγαπάω σου φώναξα και κοιταχτήκαμε, ήταν η αφορά.
Number 2. Παραδόθηκα σε σένα, Νατάσα Θοδωρίδου.
Παραδοθήκα σε σένα, δεν με νοιάζει για κανένα. Ό,τι και να λένε οι άλλοι, εγώ θα σ' αγαπώ. Παραδοθήκα μόνο.
And the number 1 track is Αθήνα μου, Κωνσταντίνος Αργυρός.
Απεγνωσμένα στην Αθήνα μου, λίγο στη νύχτα η μοναξιά μου μπουρλιάζει απόψε.
George Diakomichalis' family tradition of making fine Greek pastries dates back to the 1800s. His love for the customs and cultures around Greek food is unsurpassable. And now, he is gifting that to the next generation. This season, George brings his very own little sous chef, Anna, showing us just how wonderful it can be to have kids in the kitchen and to cook with family. Tonight, he makes the wholesome comfort food, Pastito.
Hey everyone, George Diakomichalis here. Welcome back to My Cuisina. Before we go ahead and share today's recipe, I want to welcome a very special guest. This is my younger daughter Anna, and she's making her debut. Anna, come here, Kukla.
Hello, everyone.
Here she is. Here's Anna. She's going to be helping us out today. What are we making today, Anna?
We're making pastito.
Pastito. Do you like pastito?
Yes, I love it.
She loves pastito. Who doesn't love pastito? We have some old school thick macaroni, the number 2s, olive oil, ground garlic,
onions, brown beef, tomato paste, tomato puree, cinnamon, parmesan, breadcrumb, 2 eggs, nutmeg, butter, milk and flour.
All right, we've grabbed the cazzarola. We need to put some water in it, bring it to a boil, salt it, so you season it with plenty of salt. Then we put our macaronia in there to cook.
Baba,
Ella.
while we're waiting for the macaroni to boil, do you want me to start the kima?
Okay, we've done it plenty of times at home. Now, what I think is, it looks like I'm going to be your assistant.
Okay.
Olive oil, dostu.
So now what we're going to do is we're going to add some onion, some garlic. So we're basically going to brown the onions now and we're going to caramelize them. So we bring out the sweetness of them and they have more flavour to them. Now we're going to add some tomato paste. You want to cook this out a little bit and then we are going to add the minced meat.
And now we're just going to brown it off and then we're going to start adding all the seasonings. So I find that brilliant flavours in a pastito is if you use a little bit of cinnamon, salt, pepper. If you have a little bit of port or a little bit of comandaria at home, add a little bit, just like I'm talking 30 mils worth, into the flavour. I promise you, it is going to give it a different level. It is awesome. Okay, macaronia ready. The meat sauce, the kima is on, ready to go, animal. Time to start constructing our pastito.
Okay, so what we're going to do first is we're going to coat the tray with some oil and we're going to just spread it evenly across the whole tray.
You get the ends together. Fede. If you do this, in the end, when you cut it, you're going to have a beautiful cross section so that it presents really, really well. One thing that's going to make a big difference in the flavour of your pastito, I promise you, try it. We're using Parmesan, if you want mezzitra, whatever cheese you like, but Parmesan's got a bit of a bite to it, it's beautiful. We spread amongst every layer, whether it's in amongst every layer of pasta, the kima, before you put the bechamel, after the bechamel, spread a little bit of Parmesan in it, it gives it an extra depth of flavour. If you do all these little 1%ers, 2%ers, 3%ers, at the end of your dish, you've got a 20% better flavour. I'm going to put the kima edo pera. The rest of the pasta, we're going to layer on top like we did the first lot. And then it's bechamel time.
So we're going to start by melting our butter. Now we're going to add the flour.
As you're stirring it, when you see the ribbons done, that's formed beautifully. It is ready for us now to add the milk and then we can season. Once that starts to thicken, because of the flour, it will start to thicken as it heats up. The flour is the thickening agent. We're going to add a little bit of Parmesan, which is going to add that beautiful flavour to it. And now, because we've got eggs, we're going to add a couple of eggs into this. Animal, the perfect bechamel. Look at that, look at that. We are going to put a little bit of nutmeg because it gives it a beautiful flavor. Some people like cinnamon. I love the nutmeg flavor on the pastito. And then a bit of breadcrumb and a touch of parmesan. Tora, sto forno, we've got that finished off in the oven for about, look, what you do, if you have it at about 170 to 180 degrees in that range, you can be guided by color because everything is cooked in this. So I think it'll be a beautiful golden color on the top in about 35 minutes or so. The best. Well done. Well done, well done.
Hi everyone, Noula again at Noula Studio. Today we're going to do Zentangles. Zentangles is a kind of meditative doodling, you know, and it's very, very cool. It's got its own language in its design. So it's a whole series of different design doodles, and you create them in little squares. And then when you create a whole bunch of them in a whole bunch of different little squares, different little Zentangle designs, it's like your palette, and you use that to populate a bigger design. I'm going to show you one little Zentangle. And Zentangle, like many things, you can go and Google and learn about it on the internet, but I want to bring it alive for you right now. So I start off with a little square like that. And what this little Zentangle is going to be is the ribbon effect. So the ribbon effect is very exaggerated movement like this. And from here I draw these little lines downwards. Can you see what's happening? Something's already happening. And then I can choose to do whatever. Today's, I'm just going to choose this. Isn't that cool? And then if I want to, I can do a little bit of shading. If I wanted to add a bit of color, I can do whatever I want. Okay, you can do whatever you want to. And then what I can do is just go over these lines, and you can see what I'm doing is the image begins to pop. So this is one Zentangle design called the ribbon design. So if you were going to, I don't know, do an owl, then you might decide that some part of the owl has got this in it. So if you go onto the internet and Google Zentangle step by step, you'll get images like this that show you step 1, do the square. Step 2, join the squares vertically. Step 3, join the squares horizontally. And that's what you'll end up with. And then you can do a variation of this by doing a wavy grid. How cool is that? Or you can do a variation of the wavy grid or the straight ribbon grid by doing curved lines rather than straight lines, and you'll end up with that. That's 3 different designs from one idea. And this is the beginning of my owl being Zentangled. See you next time.
The 14th Los Angeles Greek Film Festival has gone online. Not able to have the festival in person this year, an event that usually gathers thousands of people at the iconic Egyptian theatre for a week of films made by Greeks from all around the world, the LA Greek Film Festival decided to pivot and is having the film festival online. The event runs from October 1st to the 15th and streams 54 films to worldwide audiences, uniting Greeks and lovers of cinema in this 2-week filmic celebration. With industry guest speakers such as Paramount Studios' Jim Giannopoulos, writer-author Nia Vidalis, and director and showrunner Greg Yatanis. Why would you miss it? Go to lagff.org for details.
Lovebirds.
Ναι, lovebirds.
Τι είναι τα lovebirds?
Είδος παπαγάλου.
Εμένα σαν κότες μου μοιάζουν.
Greek stage theatre formed 5 years ago with the commitment to bring a little bit of the Greek arts and culture to all of us here in Australia. With comedy, drama and now music, Maria went along to rehearsals to see their latest offering.
Είμαστε εδώ με την καταπληκτική ομάδα Greek Stage Theatre. Ακόμα μια φορά, αυτή τη φορά όμως, έχουμε ένα musical με πολύ φαν και λέγεται «Οι Μπουζουκεροί, ταλαντούχος άφωνες». Ο Άκης μας πει ακριβώς τι πάει να πει «Μπουζουκεροί».
Οι Μπουζουκεροί ή αλλιώς ταλαντούχοι άφωνοι είναι μια μουσική παράσταση η οποία εξελίσσεται σε ένα νυχτερινό κέντρο διασκέδασης. Εκεί υπάρχουν ιστορίες αγάπης και μίσους μεταξύ ανδρών και γυναικών. Υπόσχονται πολύ γέλιο, τραγούδι και πιστεύω ο κόσμος θα περάσει μια ξεχωριστή βραδιά.
Και έχουμε καινούργια άτομα, έτσι, όπως η Χριστίνα, καινούρια μέλος της ομάδας. Χριστίνα, πώς αισθάνεσαι εσύ μέσα σε αυτή την οικογένεια?
Εγώ αισθάνομαι πάρα πολύ όμορφα, πάρα πολύ χαρούμενη που ο Άκης με επέλεξε να γίνω μέλος αυτής της ομάδας. Για μένα ήταν πρωτόγνωρο, η αλήθεια, το να πάρω μέρος σε ένα θέατρο, αλλά όλο το κλίμα είναι τόσο όμορφο, τόσο διασκεδαστικό και τόση μεγάλη βοήθεια του Άκη, και σε ευχαριστώ γι' αυτό, Άκη, που το μόνο που ελπίζω είναι να πάρουμε μέρος και στην επόμενη παράσταση. Δηλαδή δεν χορταίνουμε να ερχόμαστε να κάνουμε πρόβες. Είναι κάτι που μας γεμίζει τόσο πολύ, που μας βγάζει από την καθημερινότητα, ξεχνάμε τα προβλήματα και ερχόμαστε και διασκεδάζουμε, το ζούμε, το αγαπάμε.
Για πες μου, Σάντι, τώρα το επόμενο...
Το επόμενο είναι εντελώς γυναικεία υπόθεση. Είναι μια κωμωδία σε διασκευή του Άκη πάλι. Οι δόλιες φώνησες. Νομίζω δεν θα υπάρξει κανένας άντρας πάνω στη σκηνή.
Ένας άντρας και ο σκηνοθέτης.
Ποιος τη χάρη του.
Τώρα ή θα μαλλιοτραβηχτούμε όλες μαζί ή θα περάσουμε τέλεια. Ένα από τα δύο.
Πάντως θα έχουμε γέλιο.
Ναι.
Γέλιο θα υπάρχει άφθονο.
Έβαλα έναν άντρα στην ιστορία για να τις φάμε μισά-μισά, κατάλαβες.
Τέλεια. Λοιπόν, παιδιά, ευχαριστούμε πάρα πολύ.
Εμείς ευχαριστούμε.
Μία πολύ μικρή παρένθεση, να ευχαριστήσουμε το Greek Orthodox Community Club που μας έχει αγκαλιάσει από τις πρόβες μέχρι και τις παραστάσεις, το Διοικητικό Συμβούλιο και τα μέλη, όπως επίσης και τον Άρη
Χατζηγεωργίου, το σεφ, που επιμελείται το μενού για αυτές τις παραστάσεις, γιατί η παράσταση θα έχει την παράσταση και ταυτόχρονα θα υπάρχει και φαγητό.
Και το μενού, από ό,τι ξέρω, είναι καταπληκτικό.
Είναι, ναι.
Ήρθες και έχεις δοκιμάσει, άρα ξέρεις.
Ναι. Λοιπόν, παιδιά, ευχαριστούμε πάρα πολύ.
Εμείς ευχαριστούμε, να είστε καλά.
Είμαι σίγουρα ότι
καλή συνέχεια, καλή αρχή με το δεξί και πάλι.
And that's it for our show tonight. Thank you so much for joining us. It has been an absolute joy to be here again. Thank you to all our special guests, and please follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. You can also now download the Meraki TV app from the App or Play Store to easily rewatch episodes or your favorite presenters and segments. Till next week, be safe, happy and healthy. I'm Dimitri Seely. Kalinita.